So to me, a country that, ranks top in the world for extracting fossil fuels from its protected natural areas is a country that hasn't actually committed itself.
The UK became a major fossil fuel producer back in the 70s when oil and gas fields were first developed in the North Sea. We now import more oil and gas than we export, but the UK actually has one of the highest numbers of fossil fuel sites in protected areas than any other country, and that includes China and the US. Campaigners across the UK have consistently come together to voice their concern on the world's use of fossil fuels, which are notoriously bad for the environment. Extinction Rebellion has been one of the largest groups organizing demonstrations to fight for a greener future. Their goal is to fight for truthful communication, to act in reducing carbon emissions by 2025, and demand a united front against climate change.
I think it's hugely important, but I think that there's also a narrative out there that we can simply switch our current lifestyles onto renewables, and as long as we can build up the renewable capacity, nothing else really needs to change. And I think for several reasons that's not really accurate, or it's not really telling people the truth about the situation. That, for instance, one of the issues is there's actually lots of problems with renewables. Like when you build a wind farm, you have to replace the actual physical infrastructure every several decades. Some of the materials are mined in places that have a history of having minerals extracted from them for use by the richer west and global north of the country, so that it's not a kind of issue 3 simple solution.
Tackling climate change is a to-do list hard to break down, but a united society could be the key.
First and foremost, we have to stop looking for licensing new fossil fuels. Like, political will is the key obstacle here. So in terms of individuals, I think the most powerful thing you can do is, we're often encouraged to use our rights as consumers, to purchase more green things and, less plastic and that kind of thing, which is fine and great. But we also have a set of rights as citizens, and those are really powerful too. And I think those are going to be the key to unlocking real significant change. So I would say to people, look at what you can do as a citizen and as a collective, not just you as an individual, but we have huge power when we come together. And there's all sorts of groups out there like Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil and many, many others who help people to get together and use their power collectively.
Renewable energy is the obvious antidote to fossil fuels, providing an endless source of energy that doesn't pollute the atmosphere. Solar, hydro, wind, and bioenergy are just a handful of renewable energies we can lean on. But only a few weeks ago, Britain's Energy Security Minister Grant Shapps pledged with 9 other EU nations to expand the offshore North Sea wind farms, which could generate more renewable energy for Europe. The plan could see electricity production raise from 120 gigawatts by 2030 to 300 gigawatts by 2050, which is a pretty big jump. There's now a race around the world in exploring and researching new ways to access renewable sources, like the plane powered by cooking oil, which completed the 3-hour test flight just last year, and the first of its kind robotics center, which opened in the UK in May to test underwater robots and drones for use in the offshore renewable market. So positive steps are being taken.
There could be no new fossil fuel exploration or licensing from 2021 if we were to reach net zero by 2050. So that's, international governance bodies saying no more.
Do you think we can become fossil fuel free in the near future?